Hi, I'm Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
All right, everybody. Well, welcome to the Mole Hole, to the Gamekeeper Studios, the Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Building, where we're down here doing yet another podcast.
Yeah.
And across from me is Lanny Wallace.
These things are getting kind of be a regular thing around here.
It is, yeah. Sure is. And then to my west would be Dudley Phelps, who's straight back from vacation.
Yeah, had a good time.
Took a day or two off, and what'd you do?
I hit the public woods really hard, and I've never done it before for deer.
So you went hunting?
I went hunting, and
On your back.
I've grown up doing private land my whole life.
Yeah.
And
So you've recently become
No.
enthralled with public land.
yeah, I mean the only time I've ever really done public is like backpacking and hiking out west and in the Appalachians and stuff. But gosh, I've been missing out. It's beautiful.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's where
And you can
I
go
cut
to
my teeth hunting.
You can go to a new place, a new spot every time, and see something new.
So what was a typical day like?
Well, you know,
I bet he did more looking at trees than he did hunting.
oh, you know it. I drop little Dud off at school and head straight to the public land. And really, I was searching for spots, and I'd probably get climbed up in a tree at 4 p.m. But I saved all kinds of stuff on my own X.
Dropped your pins.
Yeah, drop pins. So when the rut rolls around, I'll have some places to go that I can just go straight to, and I know I can climb. But
So you took your climber
I took my climber
and your longbow?
took my summit climber and my
Ah,
whisper stick recurve,
how heavy
50
is that?
style recurve. And,
Recurve.
you know, on day 2, I get to my tree, had to stop by the office for something. And I'd just gotten these new straps for my Summit stand that Summit makes.
Yeah.
Because my stand is old. And
Yeah.
I just retrofitted it with new stuff.
Mhm.
And it's like, you know, these things are really holding everything together. It's not bouncing around, but it feels a little heavy. And lo and behold, when I get to the bottom of my tree, there's a 8-inch Lodge cast iron skillet.
Hey.
What were you planning on cooking?
What were
while
you,
you were
yeah,
out there?
I thought you were hunting, not camping.
But
Why did you take a skillet?
Yeah. Did you build a fire?
one of my coworkers likely put that in my backpack.
Oh,
my
somebody
goodness.
playing tricks around here.
So you toted a cast iron skillet all over the.
I sure did, but
At least it was a high quality lodge one.
yeah,
I mean,
I didn't tell anybody about it because I was hoping it would go away, but it didn't. When I get back, everybody's, oh, well, how heavy was your backpack?
So this was on day 2 you found it?
Yeah.
Oh, so you carried it all of day 1?
No, I had to come by the office and get
Oh, I
something.
got you. See what you
Apparently
mean.
somebody slipped it in there.
Oh, apparently.
Apparently.
Hmm.
Yeah, you got some thick skin around here, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you do. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You're a good sport, Dudley.
Well, payback's a bitch.
That's exactly right. What goes around comes around. I wonder who did it.
I don't even have to guess.
No, I don't have to guess either.
Well, moving right along, where were you hunting, Dudley?
Mississippi
Ah.
public land.
In the woods.
Yeah. Well, was it within a couple of hours of Starkville?
It was. And thankfully, that was only about a half-mile walk-in.
Does it rhyme with Juan Bar?
Huh?
I'm going to have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah, I can't even connect the dots on that.
Well, isn't there a John Star?
Oh,
I don't know. There's a lot of public land. He's got access
that's
to.
one of the 3.
Yeah.
But
You got Knoxville, you got John Star, you got Choctaw, and up north you got Chickasaw, and you got the WMAs.
Yeah, we
you
got
wouldn't know it.
There's core land too.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
core land.
Don't
Look at
say-
you.
Yeah, well, I know about the core line. I know to avoid it.
It is a totally different mindset. You know, it's like some people public land, it's like, and other people public land is like, yeah, let's go.
I get aggravated when the times that I've hunted it.
Yeah.
You got to hang with it. But
I've tried it turkey hunting, and it's not for me. But man,
y'all, come on now.
So what do you think? Okay, so it's bow season now, and you weren't seeing many people, but this after gun season comes in, if you go to the same places, or you think you're going to see a bunch of orange?
I've been told there'll be 2 or 3 trucks at every gate on weekends during rifle season. So,
I think,
y'all can take your skillet and y'all can
I can cook something up, have some eggs, some bacon,
make some friends.
Yeah, scare everybody else off and the deer.
Oh, Lord. Well, what's going on in your life, Lanny?
Got a lot of stuff going on. Still trying to get my stuff together for deer season.
What about Hayden? I'm concerned about him killing the
deer.
deer.
You are concerned about Hayden.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to worry about him.
I think he's going to be all right.
Well,
he's learning the patience of the hunt,
So is he asking, hey, Dad, let's go. Why can't we go? Where are we going? What are we doing?
We're so busy right now, in all honesty, with so much going on that it's like just trying to catch your breath every day. So we went once. We hadn't been but once, and we have plans on going. But like this weekend, he's got a swim meet. So
is he still playing football?
No, the football thing is
it over?
Is over with.
Okay.
It was a short-lived pee-wee season.
I was excited that he was playing football.
I know you were.
He is fast as greased lightning. I'm just if they'll
where
ever
did
put
he
him
get
on the
that from?
offense.
I do not know where he got his burst of speed from, but he's fast. Shannon says it's because he had to keep up with me when he was young, walking around so much, and I'm so long-legged. But I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, we're yet to get our stuff in order, but it's definitely on the horizon. We still have the house destruction going on and construction. So.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, and speaking of youngins killing deer, Dudley, what about little Dudley? What y'all got planned?
We're going to try to go Sunday.
Did y'all go last week?
We went last week. Had a little spike come out. He didn't seem. I would have let him shoot it if he wanted to, but he didn't seem real interested. We saw a few turkeys, and we heard Big Boy grunt one time just inside the trees on the edge of the field. And I'd hear him occasionally moving around. And then, of course, as it gets closer to dark, the thermals change. They sink right down to the deer. We hear a snort and hear him run off.
Grunting. You heard him grunting.
He actually grunted it was a very aggressive, long grunt.
Really?
One time.
Did you grunt back at him?
I didn't bring my stuff.
Oh, you're not a natural voice grunter?
No.
But, were you able to tell Dudley, hey, did you hear that? And
he didn't hear it.
Yeah.
But, you got to hear the turkeys playing around and all that stuff. I said it sounds kind of like a pig. You got to listen for it. This isn't normally the time of year where you hear it.
Yeah, that's
that kind of stuff.
Surprising.
But he learned a lot, and he's what made me so happy was he said he wanted to go back.
There you go.
Yeah, it's what's the saying? You can teach them to hate it, but you can't teach them to love it.
Yeah.
So you got to be real careful about. What about your bow hunting quest with your daughter? How's that going?
It's difficult. We've hunted twice together, so there's 2 people in a stand. It's trying to get them.
We're going lock on, ladder.
We've done a ladder, a 2-person ladder, and then a elevated redneck blind.
Oh yeah,
which is really nice because you can get away with a lot more movement that way.
Yeah.
But we've seen some deer, and we've had a couple of bucks that acted like they were going to come within range, and then just like they do.
It's bow hunting.
Yeah,
it's tough.
So she did shoot a pig a couple of weeks ago. That was exciting.
Well, on the hunt front, Shannon and Terry are headed to Oklahoma.
Oh, that's
whitetail
awesome.
hunting. Yeah.
So your wife Shannon, for the listeners.
Yeah, and her longtime friend and somebody else that works here alongside of us, Terry Myers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're road tripping it, the Thelma and Louise style out to Oklahoma.
Wow.
I love it.
I thought I carried a lot of stuff hunting. Let me tell you what, I was helping her load up last night. I was like, where'd you get this bag from?
Look, I would dread being her guide.
Oh, why?
Well, if just anything went wrong, it would be awful. If you got to the blind and forgot your binoculars or something, she would probably make you feel about that big.
Oh, no, it's not that bad, Bobby. I think she's got you on pins and needles.
She does.
Yeah. She enjoys,
Has Melissa ever killed anything?
No, she's gone with me. She's gone with me this year. She'll go sit and watch, and she's not opposed to me shooting anything.
Right.
She doesn't want to shoot.
Yeah, Kelly's the same way.
Shannon will blow them down. You better look out.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Oh, me.
Well, I'm looking at Jason Cleveland, who's our producer, who holds that tape recorder together and all that, and he's got a son named Christian that started working here a few months back, and I think you guys. Did Christian get a blue tick dog over the weekend to coon hunt with?
He did. One of my buddies from back in Newton County, he got it from him, and he's super excited about it.
Coon hunting is a lot of fun when you're that age.
And he's already named it. And, he's sharing pictures.
Said he's got it tied up at the nursery.
As a matter of fact,
got the picture of him holding the tail up.
As a matter of fact, the other night we heard him barking outside. He was going crazy, and Christian went outside and let him off the chain.
Yeah.
And he took off like a rocket. And I bet he was 300 or 400 yards away. We could barely hear him. But Christian tracked him out there, and he had a coon up a tree.
Oh, awesome.
Look at that. First run.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I definitely want to go hunting with him.
I have never coon hunted.
It's so much fun.
Oh.
Think about all those Jerry Clower stories.
I get it. I feel like I have, even though I hadn't.
Most of those revolve around coon hunting.
Yeah, well, I knew that, but I didn't. Just never been personally myself.
Yeah.
I kind of get tired when it gets dark.
I think when I was younger, I went with a group of guys a bunch, and it seems like it's always like teenage boys and older men, and then there's nobody in between that coon hunts.
Both ends of the age spectrum.
So you're like Christian's age, and you're like a 75-year-old guy in overalls with
with a lamp and a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
It probably takes him a while to get to the tree coon, but he probably enjoys hearing the
dogs run.
Yeah.
So when's the last time you went coon hunting, Bobby?
It's been a while. Gosh, it's probably been
since I've known you.
Yeah, it's been 30 years.
It's been 30 years.
I've never been with coon hunting at night with a dog. I've done squirrel hunting with dogs, and that's fun.
Yeah, at night.
Great fun. No.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're so hyper focused on deer and turkey these days that
that's right.
I love when I hear about somebody that's doing something like that.
Right,
So
and I think probably a lot of your first hunt. What kind of? I'm sure it wasn't deer hunting, or was it? What's the first? Some of your first hunting memories.
A dove shoot.
Dove shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
Dove.
I love my dad. He passed away when I was 17, but he would take me. He obviously didn't read the book on how to train a kid to hunt.
Right.
He just threw me into it.
Right.
And so I was the kid that was trying to walk behind him out in the, walking soybean fields, trying to jump a rabbit, quail, dove, fly over. That's what he liked to do. Just go and walk on the weekends.
Yeah.
And whatever you saw, it was in season.
Right.
And call that a gumbo hunt.
And then, then he started taking me deer hunting, but that was when there weren't any deer. And so I think I hunted with him for 4 years before we even saw a deer.
Oh, yeah.
And that was when you'd have the piece of plywood between the two trees with the lawn chairs on it.
Or the cotton spindles.
I would just immediately go to sleep in the bottom of it. And, he shot and woke me up.
I remember hunting just for days and not seeing deer.
Oh, yeah.
And I would have dreams when I was young that I would finally shoot a deer, and I would go up to it and I'd grab it by the horns, and the horns would break.
Oh, my goodness.
That's how smitten I was by it.
I got to where I didn't like it, but I wanted to please him. So I would go.
No, I got you.
I'm just lucky and blessed that it stuck, and I love it. But,
it's funny. My cousin and I were talking last night. He's got his son Cash, and he sent me videos. He's out there, shooting at does with a 410, and it's just some of the greatest stuff you've ever seen. And he's like, we used to be so miserable hunting. I can't believe I love it still.
I know, exactly.
But it is. It's just something about it that you can't emulate anywhere else. But.
No, you can't. So Jason, has Christian read the book Where the Red Fern Grows?
Oh yeah, it's his favorite book.
Oh, that's a good one. I would highly recommend anybody that's got a youngster like Hayden. He'll be old enough to read that in a few years.
No, he's already reading like a champion.
And Little Dud.
Oh,
it's a great book.
That and Old Yeller.
Oh yeah,
You know, those were my favorites when I was a kid.
Man, them dog stories now.
First
Y'all
time
gonna
I
get
ever,
me tore up.
First time I ever cried watching a movie.
Yeah, that's about the only time I cry now is when a dog. Something about a dog.
Yeah, don't mess with our dogs.
No, that's exactly right.
Well, good for Christian. Keep us posted on what's the dog's name.
Trap.
That's an awesome.
We've
name.
had this is a very big current events segment we've had here. We got all kind of stuff going on.
Well, we don't have a guest.
Oh, that's
so
right.
we had a guest lined up, and due to some health reasons, they had to back out on us, and it kind of left us with a little hole to fill here.
Gotcha.
So it's interesting to learn what's going on in your world, Lanny. I think everybody's
Well, thank
probably
you, Bobby.
hanging on pins and needles trying to
I
figure
don't
out what's
think
going-
so. I don't think so.
What's going on?
I
there.
live a very blessed life. So, anyways.
Yeah, you do. You're and I'm really excited to hear what Shannon and Terry do out there. Is
That's
it
great.
Oklahoma that they're
Yeah,
going?
Oklahoma they're going to. It's they have been friends their whole lives.
Yeah.
So we actually live close to each other. So Shannon's hunted a pretty good bit. Terry, has been around it her whole life, and her whole family hunts. But I don't know how much she's kind of done solo. So they got them a little girls trip out there. The cameras are following behind them.
Where are they going in Oklahoma?
Oh God.
Is it the Canadian River? Hill?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Okay, that's a long drive.
Yeah.
All the way across.
Yeah, she left at 3:15 this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them to bring us some bur oak acorns. We're kind of low.
Yeah, I could hit them up for that. They'll be out there. Riley's out there. We'll call Riley. I'm sure he'll get it done.
Well, maybe Riley will get the number 3 kill under his belt this year. He's.
Yeah,
I'm just impressed with Riley's baby. Have you seen those pictures on Facebook? I know this is way off subject. But that is the grinningest youngin' I have
Yeah,
ever
he's a
seen.
hoot. Yeah,
Old Fisher.
Old Fisher.
Yeah, that's cool.
I messed around with Riley the other day and told him that I found one of his public hunting spots, and he texted me back. He's like, "Don't tell anybody."
Is that what he sounded like?
It was in text, but I think that's what it was about. It's
That's
like, dude,
what his tone
I'm not
going
to tell anybody, but I did figure it out.
How about that?
That's part of the the allure of public hunting, and even I think it's offshore fishing too. It's that great unknown for one thing, and then it is that you have to outfish, out hunt, outwork, out commit, out.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta outdo everybody else. That's what it comes down to.
Well, you hear stories about this week. I have heard that 5 days prior to the duck season starting in Arkansas, there were people already parked at the boat ramp.
I couldn't imagine how crazy it is.
5 days.
I was the guy, 20 years ago, getting up at 1 a.m. and not even going to bed and beating everybody out there when nobody was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I couldn't even imagine. So,
Well,
especially on the duck thing, I don't know what propelled it the way it did. Maybe it was Duck Dynasty. Maybe it was the Robertsons. I don't know, but it's wild out there in the public duck woods, buddy.
It from what I've heard, I think like Biomeda, I think they would let you launch a boat, but then you couldn't go past a certain point until maybe 4:00. And then when 4:00 got here, it was just a race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting.
Wow. So, at one time I had a duck boat and hunted on the Tom Bigby.
I remember those days.
And that you had to get up so early because you really would. And it was so aggravating because you would have in your mind where you were going to go, all night long. And then you would launch and
get
all the
there
way
and
there.
somebody's there.
Well, the aggravating thing is sometimes they would let you pole all the way back there, get to where you're going to get, and then they'd turn on their lights and you'd be like, "Gummit," and you'd have to back out and go somewhere else. So I got tired of that.
Yeah. Well, there's not, the duck hunting around here is pretty limited, honestly. So if you're going to duck hunt hard around here in East Mississippi public land, that's probably one of the biggest challenges there is from a public land perspective.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's more now than there was people doing it.
Yeah,
now.
Everybody we're talking about with the Wild West, that's in the Delta. They're not, you won't see them fighting over here.
Yeah.
But you can, you can find some little potholes,
Oh, yeah.
and, kill you a handful of ducks. What those guys are doing out in that flooded timber in Arkansas is, they're just being the first one to get there, kind of like those bass boats.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, I just can't imagine going as fast in those woods in a boat as they're going.
Yeah.
It's a wonder somebody doesn't get killed.
Yeah, and they've been doing it for years too, even before these mud motors and everything else.
They've been
doing it.
I went with this guy, and it's a long time ago. It was over 20 years ago, and Johnny Mafoose. And he was like a legend over in that Biomeda area. And I had the best time with him. It was so much fun. But I remember him telling stories that, like, you could only have like a 40 horsepower motor, and that guys would take a 75 or 80 and then put the decals off of a 40 on there.
Or they're still doing that. They'll take in, these outboard motors and boring them out, boring the pistons, putting bigger pistons out of them. So it will be, the size, but inside it's way more than that. Yeah, when they start putting on goggles when they're going duck hunting, and helmets, it's like, it's going to get serious out here.
Oh, my goodness.
Y'all can have that. Take it.
So speaking of duck hunting, this episode's sponsor is Gamekeeper Fieldwear.
Oh, yeah. Is that they got the wader jacket?
They've got the new wader jacket, and it is it's got so many features, guys. When y'all go online and look at it at GamekeeperFieldwear.com, you can't see all the features that this thing has.
And you can't see it because it's in bottomland and shattergrass.
It's beautiful.
Boom.
It's a great product. I like how you did that there. But they've got the jacket, the wader jacket, on sale 20% off just in time for duck season. So they're the sponsor of this week's podcast.
That'd make a great Christmas gift.
Yeah, it would.
It sure
or an early Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go. A Thanksgiving gift.
Open it early. Yeah.
Thanksgiving gift.
So they're the sponsor of this week's podcast. And this podcast, we talked about, you hear people do the best of, series of things, the best of show. Well, this is the best one we could do today. So that's what the title of this is going to be.
We're going to talk about our kids.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask Dudley.
Who's got Rona?
when he was walking around looking at all these trees, if he saw many squirrels.
I did see a few squirrels. It was all gray squirrels in the woods, but you'd see fox squirrels driving up and down the gravel roads.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting at when I was asking y'all earlier. What was your first introduction into hunting? I figured it would be small game. Mine was squirrel hunting.
Mine too.
And
dove and squirrels.
And where I really fine tuned, I guess I fine tuned my skills.
There's nothing about you fine tuned.
I only shot 7 times. Go
ahead.
But my favorite way to hunt, and I think a lot of it, you see this out west more than the south because it's so thick, is, spotting and stalking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's, that's definitely something that I learned as a young child trying to get close enough to shoot a squirrel with a 22 or actually starting out with a pellet gun before it all happened. But
they are tough. I mean, you've got to pay attention. You've got to camouflage up, and you've got to be stealthy.
Yeah, you got to move with the woods.
Unless you're deer hunting.
Yeah, then they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
How many times have you heard a squirrel in the woods and thought it was a deer?
Oh my goodness.
It still gets me.
I know it's a squirrel, but I'm like, there's a chance.
Yeah.
That might be a black panther.
No telling.
No
I will say this. It's harder to find places to squirrel hunt because everybody's, once again, so hyper focused on deer. They don't want their place getting boogered up.
Right. Yeah. And you do think of that, people walking through and shooting them, but it's really fun. And it's I don't know if I wouldn't say it's a lost art form, but you don't see as many people doing it these days as you used to.
And nowadays it's more like a before or after deer season thing.
Yeah.
Same with rabbit season.
Yeah.
So Dudley, could this scenario take place? Could you be at your public hunting area at one bar, and you be sitting in a stand, and it's be 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're enjoying it, and all of a sudden you hear a couple of 22 shots, and here comes a dad and junior, and they're squirrel hunting, and they walk right on the ridge top that you're on, and hunt squirrels and keep on going. Could that happen?
Absolutely. I think it happens frequently. I just hadn't been enough in public woods to see it happen, but
So it's not
happens all the time.
It's not just deer hunting that's going on. It's
No.
whatever's legal.
Once again, I think deer hunting has gotten so popular on public land that it's more difficult to do that kind of thing. And I even, lots of folks will heckle people like that. You're coming through here messing it up and that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Would you heckle them?
No.
Nah.
Of course he wouldn't. It's the commons, man. The rules of this. That's what it's there
Play
for.
on
is the
through.
people. Play on through.
It's your tax money too.
Dudley's a good guy. I wouldn't expect Dudley to heckle him.
Well,
But
good.
yeah, I'd probably secretly be like, my hunt just got ruined. And I'd probably get down and I'd probably
Go home and poke your lip out.
No, not until it gets dark. I'm going to go play around and look for another.
I live
area.
in the middle of public land, and it's active. People coon hunt out there. I mean, there's at least 2 times a year, there's a group that comes and coon hunts. And in February every year, there's going to be 2 or 3 groups that come through there and they let the beagles out on the, and start hunting and come
Haggle,
through
haggle,
there. Haggle it up. So, you can't knock it. You just got to be smarter, That's get where they're not going to be. And that's more than likely where the wildlife's going to be anyways.
All hunters need to work together and quit arguing amongst each other. We're in different political parties or something.
Right.
Just hunt. And be grateful we had that opportunity.
And be good stewards of the land. I mean,
exactly.
Leave it better than you found it. Game keep it up. Because you don't have to just be a private landowner to to be a gamekeeper.
And don't be that guy.
No.
Don't be the guy that blocks the gate.
Right, and follow the rules and get your permits and don't bitch about it. And, do your thing, man.
That's a good point.
And have fun.
And enjoy it. Yeah, that's exactly
It's
right.
a great resource, and every state's got a lot of different.
We're really lucky here in the state. You hear Dudley and I talk about it a lot, but we run into people in elk camp. Those guys that we ran into elk camp from Mississippi, they had put in on the same draw hunts that we are. So it's a very active managed resource.
You went on a public land dove hunt earlier.
Oh yeah, I put it in for it every year.
Yeah, and y'all killed like one dove.
Yeah.
You killed one.
Yeah, but we weren't shooting. It was youth.
It was youth. Okay.
Youth.
Okay.
So why are you trying to knock my shooting skills?
Oh, and there's just a theme.
We need to compare freezers.
So have y'all been going dove hunting? Have y'all been going dove hunting out at our spot without telling anybody?
I hadn't. No, I do know that people are hunting. I don't think they're dove hunting our spot.
We need to.
Clay is
we need to do
squirrels.
a fall. We need to do a second and third dove
100%.
hunt.
Well, we when we planted, we didn't plow. We just mowed. So there should be, a significant amount of stuff down there. We got to get down there.
It's just a great natural spot.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, well, Clay was down there this weekend shooting squirrels.
Yeah.
I think he had a couple of squirrels.
I think he did pretty well.
I saw some of them. They were shot up.
Yeah. I don't know what you're getting at here, but I can tell by the look on your face. I don't know whether you're jealous of him shooting squirrels, or you think he's ruined the deer hunting, or maybe you ran the dove off.
I'm thinking he may have messed up spooking doves.
Spooking doves.
So in other words, Bobby would definitely get mad at the coon hunter that ran over his stand if he was hunting.
I'm gonna put a 15-pound skillet in your
squirrel.
What I'm thinking is that Clay may be shooting doves and not telling us about them.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Clay wouldn't do anything like that.
No.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good to know.
He might not help you with your duck hole next year. You keep talking trash about him.
Yeah, you're right. He's a good guy at times.
Oh. Whoa.
So what about blood on the biologic? There's been a lot of big deer killed this past week.
Man, they continue to fall down in the Midwest. I don't know if it's because of social media or that many deer get killed every year, and I just don't see them. But
well, once again, Mark Jury killed a giant.
It's like that's every week
in our non-typical clover. He was raving about it. His deer love it. and he's got such a green thumb. But boy, all those jury guys are this year. Terry, Matt, Taylor, they've all killed.
Oh, great deer. And their team members. I mean, I think where Matt's lead camera guy killed one yesterday.
He sure did.
And didn't Jeff Lindsay kill another good deer?
He did.
Yeah.
Sure did. I think that was yesterday, as a matter of fact. Or
Big deer hitting the ground everywhere. So we're still in our early phase. Acorns are hitting the ground.
Yeah, we hadn't even we aren't even pre-rutting yet.
Yeah, we're a month out.
Yeah, we got to pace ourselves.
We're a month out.
So Nate, that works in the warehouse, killed a doe. He's on quarantines, but he's evidently able to go fishing.
Yeah, I've seen him on quarantine with his boat in the back of his truck going down the highway.
I want to be on quarantine again.
I lucked up and got it during turkey season. I didn't, of course, I was complaining about it then. But.
Yeah. Oh, you complained about it. Let me tell you. And that was some intense times because I felt like I was up here by myself.
You
during
were.
Turkey season.
You were.
During turkey season is the key words to that.
Oh man,
that was awful.
Yeah, this whole scenario is kind of crazy. Honestly.
So, what about? Did you see that our own Norm Sneed, who is just one of the most impressive licensing sales guys ever.
Impressive.
Yes. He traveled to West Texas and killed an aoudad.
Ah.
And he's wearing the new Mossy Oak Terra in a Drake performance wear. But those aoudad. Now, I've never been out there and seen one or killed one, but everybody says what a tough hunt it is. But that is a weird looking critter.
Yeah.
Talking about Norman? Or you talking about the aoudad?
Yeah, Norman is a weird looking.
So they must not have a very good sense of smell with all that cologne he wears.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But they talk about how physical it is. So think of the
and
Norman
and
a
Norman
physical hunt, it just doesn't really
specimen.
add up.
That's right.
does not add up. But anyway, he killed a really big aoudad, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with the audads.
A Barbary sheep, same thing.
So is it native or is it
No, I don't think so.
It came from Africa.
Do we need to Google it?
They dropped them off in Texas.
They came from Chad. So my understanding was there were some guys from Texas, like in World War I, that were over there and saw those things and said, "Woo, boy, they would do well and we're at home," and somehow brought
one back.
Yeah,
two back. Brought two back.
At least two, and turned them loose, and they've evidently populated out there.
It's interesting how a lot of things have gotten here.
Yeah, later on, I'm gonna bring that back up a little bit later.
Well, I mean, even the hog. I mean, and that's how it got here, wasn't it? I know we had domesticated hogs, and there were some maybe hogs out west, but in the deep south.
Well, they say that the Spaniards
brought them.
Spaniards.
Ponce de Leon.
Ponce.
Yeah. And maybe what was the other explorer that came right through here?
Fernando de
Soto.
Yeah.
I read something really interesting, and this is kind of a change of subject. And it doesn't even have anything to do with them. Lewis and Clark expedition. They figured out that they were using a laxative that contained mercury, and that expedition used it exclusively, and other expeditions did not mention using it. And so they are finding these primitive latrines on these old campsites and testing them for mercury.
Shut up.
To find out that
went.
The Lewis and Clark's team.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
And
I can tell how fascinated you are, Bobby. That's cool. I think didn't supposedly DeSoto get lost around here somewhere?
And so
one of the few places that DeSoto got lost.
They're actively digging around here trying to
looking for some mercury.
No, that
was Lewis.
This
and
is
Clark.
DeSoto.
Oh yeah, my bad.
But
this was pre-Lewis and Clark.
My archaeology buddy, they've been digging around here for the last couple of years, and finding bits of silver.
So
they're finding
looking...
Spanish stuff literally in my neighborhood.
Wow!
But I don't think they've been able to tag DeSoto to it, but it's got to be.
Right. Isn't it Rufus Ward that he has a lot of history about this part of the world, and it has a lot of reference to DeSoto coming through.
smart on that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think that one of the things that I've heard about is that it can't just exactly figure out where he crossed the Tombigbee River. Right. If they could ever figure that out, then they would have a better idea of.
And all the, old writings and journals and things say that this area was like 3 or 4 county area of grasslands. And really all you had was trees on the creeks and rivers because they burned so much.
Boy, that'd have been beautiful.
Man, yeah.
And,
I'd love to be able to hit the
post
rewind
oaks
button.
every 100 feet,
Right.
just ancient post oaks that can handle the fire and
Wow.
grasslands. Pretty cool.
Elk running around.
And now we've got nothing but trees everywhere.
We sure do have some trees. Speaking of, how's that black cherry mulberry package doing?
It's doing really well. Everybody wants to plant trees right now.
Hey, it's the time to do it.
Well, it's the time to do it. And it seems like, I don't know if it's the virus or whatever, it's triggering people to want to get outside. And
there's definitely been a massive movement outside because of this whole virus thing.
We're selling out of stuff earlier than normal. So, guys, if you want to get stuff, get it.
License sales are up. More activity than we've seen in a long time. So that's good.
We're collecting as much as we possibly can in hopes that people are going to want to buy a bunch of trees next year too.
Yeah, the guys are literally driving hundreds of miles picking up acorns right now.
Is that right? Wow. Well, I saw them yesterday and they look
canvassing the southeast.
Aggravating squirrels at every turn.
Yeah, there's going to be some kind of squirrel lobbying union that gets against us at some point.
We had a little mishap with our swamp white acorn collection. And I want to personally thank my buddy Phil Stark for pulling through. And he went out and got us a whole bunch of swamp white acorns from some real productive trees.
This segment is brought to you by Phil Stark. Blow the horn for him.
You're the man, Phil.
Thank you, Phil Stark.
All right. Well, why don't we take a break and pay some bills, and when we come back, let's do the Ask Dudley.
All right, sounds good.
That sound good?
Yep.
When I first bought this farm a short time ago, every single field was grown up with brush 8 and 10 feet high. But it went from that to this. And even though I planted biologic with very little moisture in the ground, I was really amazed at the results. I just sat in this field with my wife as she shot her very first deer. We could not be happier. We made a memory that will last a lifetime, all because of the effectiveness of the best food plot seed on the market. Biologic is better seed, pure and simple. Log on to plantbiologic.com to learn more.
Hey folks, it's Jeff Foxworthy. When I was a kid, my dad bought back the farm that he had grown up on. And I absolutely love that place. I knew every square inch of it. It truly was my favorite place on earth. And when you're looking to find a favorite place for you and your family, Mossy Oak Properties can help. Visit mossyoakproperties.com to begin your search today.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those commercials and you will support our show
supporters.
Sponsors. Yeah, we certainly need that. So, without any further ado, why don't we get into the Ask Dudley question?
Why don't you play that Ask Dudley thing?
I love
Once in a generation, a mind comes along, a mind that understands more than the average person and is more than willing to share his knowledge. From trees to food plots to fertilizer, Dudley Phelps knows so much that he has forgotten more than he remembers. And now he gives you the chance to ask the burning questions in your mind. It's time for Ask Dudley.
Hey, Dudley, Edgar Wilson in South Carolina. Trying to get some impoundments ready for ducks this year. We got a late start. We don't intend on hunting them, but we do want them to be inviting to any migrators and the local ducks on the property. And a couple of the smaller impoundments, we planted God's Choice in early October. So it's roughly knee to thigh high. And I was curious if we should go ahead and flood it and hope that it heads out in the water, or wait until it heads out, if it will, this late, and flood it then. I appreciate y'all. Have a good day. Bye.
Great question, Edgar. And you're on the coast near Myrtle Beach and all that. And we have gradually planted that later and later every year and been happy with the results. When it started out, we were, like mid-June and July getting that stuff in the ground and having armyworm problems. It does so well when you plant it. But the timing is important, especially now that we have armyworm problems that just seem to be more and more frequent every year. But I think you're still going to be fine. It's going to head out. And I was able to cheat a little bit too. You sent me an email photo and we saw some seed heads forming. So that's a great sign. But gosh, we've planted in July and failed, and you have to spray it and this kind of stuff. So nowadays we're planting like, mid-August to mid-September here in Mississippi and, similar latitudes and being very successful. I think must be a photo period thing when the days get shorter, it kind of encourages it to go ahead and make a seed head. Whereas when you plant it really early, if you don't get armyworms, sometimes it can get too tall and fall over. Yeah. So I think next year, try to get it in the ground a couple of weeks earlier, but you're going to be fine.
45 to 60 days and it's making seed. In 45 days, it's making seed.
We have, kept pretty good records over the last 3, 4, 5 years, to Dudley's point on this, because just like what he was saying, we were rushing out there July 4th at one point and planting and having to fight not only armyworms, not only deer, not only hogs, but then it getting old and laying down too.
Yeah.
So we, just like you said, we pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. So instead of 4th of July, it's Labor Day now. Mm-hmm. That's kind of our target date, and we still have to deal with some armyworms a little bit. But want to make a crop right before it gets cold is, I think, the key to it.
There's so many things that can go wrong with that. Mm-hmm. It's probably the easiest crop we have to grow.
Yes.
But yet blackbirds, wild pigs, deer,
they all love it.
Armyworms.
That's a testament to how.
Yeah. But it's a grass. Yeah. I mean, isn't it?
But it is a grass. And
when it first comes up, man, I kind of want to eat it. It looks so good.
Very tender. But when you bust that beaver dam like you do so often, and that water sucks off, and you've got just that mud flat. You can plant it, within just a couple of days, you've got a green 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, and Toxie will talk more about this, but he's a pro at it better than anybody. But you're right, that seed hitting that muck instead of dry dirt, even plowed dirt. I don't know if it's more seed to surface contact area for it, whether it's the existing moisture that's available not only on top but in the stuff under it. But it grows like crazy. Mm-hmm. It's a great, poor man's duck pond, kind of a solution for lots of people. It's perfect. It's perfect. It really is.
Remember a couple years ago, I think Clay Davis planted his too early.
Yeah.
And it got like 5 feet tall.
It was taller than he was. Now, he's not a real tall guy, but he was still taller than he was.
I want to say some water got on it and it made the base rot and it fell over and it resprouted and made an awesome crop right in time for duck season.
Right in time for duck season.
I think that first was a volunteer crop that came up that by the time he went and checked on it, it was he could see it making a seed.
Oh, it was seed from the year before that came. Right, okay, that's right.
So, but it really is easy to grow, and it's and look, I can remember my 4th of July being spent tearing out beaver dams.
Yeah.
And now we don't
leave the water on it.
We have learned.
You're creating more work for yourself if you take it off early. Mm-hmm. Not only the plant competition, but again, a hog isn't likely to feed in something underwater. So.
And he was also asking about can you flood it while it's growing or before it's done? This is not a crop like rice. You want to dry land grow it. It's okay if you get a heavy rain and it floods a little bit and then goes away, but it's not the kind of thing that you're going to grow like rice and water. It'll kill it.
Because I guess I always thought it would grow a little bit with water up under it.
My experience is it doesn't mind having its feet wet just a little bit, but not a lot.
No.
Right.
And so don't do that. He also did some cool things. These are all new spots. They just acquired this property.
Yeah.
Couple of the duck ponds, they weren't able to get anything on it in time, so he just planted wheat.
Yeah. Or man, I assume you can do it. Maybe I might be incriminating myself here, but if you don't hunt on it, can you not feed there?
I would think you could.
Yeah.
You can to imprint.
Yeah. So, and that's what it's about, especially my waterfowl impoundments is, you can't just go in there 1 year and expect to kill ducks. It's got to be there for 5 or 10 years for those older ducks and younger ducks to imprint on it.
But anything's going to be better than bare dirt,
right?
And you're also doing some erosion control. But that green wheat, it'll flood and probably die, but there'll be invertebrates going in there to eat it, which will attract ducks. And so,
cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a duck land on dry land?
That's a good question. I have when I was in Canada. I'm thinking,
but,
but not very often.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it. It's they lose their grace a little bit. And they come cruising into a dirt pile.
It's not nearly as common here in the South.
No, I've seen it in
It
Oklahoma,
seems like I've seen it in Mississippi, outside of Greenwood where I grew up hunting, and but it was always when it was really cold, and there was a lot of water, usually a lot of ice. And I think it just starts where they're landing in the water, and then it gets full or it freezes up, and then they just start
landing on the land. I saw them coming down in a peanut field, and I mean it was 1,000 ducks, and they were landing, and it was stirring up dust. And you get in there with binoculars and see them, and then peanuts.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then they'd pick up and they'd go to a local reservoir. Or we'd be waiting on them.
They had to get them something to drink.
Yeah, had to get them something to drink.
Yeah, how about that? Well, when we went years ago, when we went to September 1st and hunted ducks in way north Saskatchewan, there wasn't we hunted dry fields.
Dry fields.
There wasn't any water.
Wow.
That was different.
That is different.
Very different. Yeah, it sure was.
Especially those old bottomlanders.
Yeah, it was. Well, bottomland worked up there. I can tell you, laid in that dirt.
Oh man, I bet so.
It sure
felt
did.
like a cottonmouth in Canada.
The bottomland works anyway.
Yeah, it does.
It's good. So look, all right, Dudley, thank you.
That was a good one. We love talking about ducks.
Yeah, we do. We do. That was
Edgar. Good luck, Edgar.
Thanks for pitching in, guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. You said
that was
ducks.
a team effort.
That's like you say, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, so Edgar, Dudley will personally make sure you get a little Gamekeeper
gift pack
care package. Yeah, for asking that great question. So, look, Lenny, I think you enjoyed last week's where we checked in with Richie Davenport, who is the producer of the Gamekeeper television show, and just an all-around good guy.
I did enjoy that,
and he's a little more animated than we ever expected that he could. So, I'm really really curious to see what he has.
What he got going on this week?
Up to.
Yeah. So.
Let's dial him up.
Yeah, producer Cleveland, if you're over there, could you
Mr. Davenport. Just knock on the wall. Oh. Man. Is he at my duck hole? Hey! What are you doing?
Oh, nothing. Me and Dave back here working on our duck calls part of the season coming up.
Well, I'm sure he's planning on hunting my place, so.
He always is.
Oh, Richie. Well, we enjoyed checking in with you last week to find out what's going on the Outdoor Channel this week, and just thought we'd do it again, if you don't mind.
Yeah. And this week we got waterfowl migration. That's where we learned everything, how, when, where, waterfowl migrate. We talked to some guys, some biologists from Ducks Unlimited, and they were some great knowledge and some really fun stuff.
All right. Is there any duck hunting on that one?
Oh, yeah. And actually, Dale Hall, the past CEO of Ducks Unlimited, Mr. Bill and Toxie hunted with them. And it was the last actual official season as the CEO of Ducks Unlimited.
Man, Dale's a great guy.
Time.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Well, good. That sounds good.
So what night does that show come on now?
Every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central on the Outdoor Channel. Can't miss it.
That's awesome, Richie.
The OC.
The prime slot.
You got anything else going on? What are you doing this weekend, Richie?
Well, that's a good question. It's opening of rifle season this weekend, so might have to sneak away.
Blast one. There you go.
Well, Richie, I hope you kill one so big you don't have to lie about it.
Get David to take you hunting. He knows where they are.
Back here still working on it.
All right. Well, we'll let you go, Richie. Thank you.
Hi, guys.
All right. Well, that was Richie Davenport giving
Man.
us an update on what's going on the Gamekeeper television show. Lord have mercy. So, all right. Well, moving right along. Dudley, you got a grin on your face there.
Oh, I was just laughing about Richie.
Yeah, he's worth laughing
He's
at.
a
that's for
ham.
sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm told he used to have a radio show.
Hey, man, he's got it going on. That's for sure.
He's got a radio voice, doesn't he? Yeah. Okay. So moving right along, we don't want to put everybody to sleep, but I got a little did you know?
Did you know?
Yeah. Did you know? So at first I wasn't going to do this one, and I've got a A and a B since it's almost Thanksgiving. The B one will be kind of fun,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going to do this one, but I verbally said it down the hall. You guys didn't hear me, but 2 or 3 of the younger guys
Didn't know.
didn't know. So
Did you know?
It made me
I didn't
realize
know.
that people under about 50 may not even be aware of this.
I'm
But-
under 50.
But the ring-necked pheasant that we all love so much, it's all over the Midwest, and people hunt all the time, is not native to the United States. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
It was brought here in the 1880s by a guy named Owen Denny, who was a diplomat from the United States that went to China. He was in Shanghai, and that's where these ringneck pheasants are native.
Huh.
And he brought some. He thought they would just do. He was from Oregon,
Yeah.
and he thought that they would do well out there in the Willamette Valley, which is where we get a lot of our seeds from.
Yeah.
And so
And
he
that's where
brought
they
some
let 'em
home
go.
and started them right out there. And then others saw them and started requesting more and more and more. And there's pheasants all over the Midwest now.
Well, that's interesting.
That's cool.
Like-
I knew that, but that's very interesting.
Well, I
I didn't know
expect
that
you to
about the
know.
Denny guy.
I didn't know that.
So when I was growing up, one of the places I went duck hunting with my friend in Belzona, Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta, they released like 100 of them. They had several hundred acres of CRP grassland,
Right.
and a year later they were gone. They just slowly died out. They never reproduced.
Yeah, I think there's something going on with they in the South. I don't think they can reproduce in the dirt around here for some reason. I've heard that.
And the hawks are eating them probably too.
Well,
Hawks would
I mean,
be
they're going to
bad
eat them
on-
everywhere.
Yeah. But I can tell you this: if you've ever, it's the official bird of South Dakota. Yeah, did you know that?
I did
That's
not know that. It's from China,
Yeah.
and it's the official bird of South Dakota.
Yeah, apparently
Hey,
South Dakota
and
was,
Bill Gibson is up there hunting them.
Yeah, he is. But apparently South Dakota was, needing a bird. So
They
so
borrowed
they're
one from
friends.
China.
Yeah, but when you fly into South Dakota, it's all about pheasant hunting.
Right.
It's a big part of that economy.
No, it's a huge
up there.
part of the economy.
But they are a lot of fun to hunt. So I would encourage anybody that ever gets a chance to go out there and pheasant hunt to do
And
it.
the aoudad came from Chad, and the pheasant came from China.
That's right. It's just amazing. Gamekeepers from all around the world have worked together to.
Drop stuff off over here.
Well, there's Neil Guy in South Texas.
Yeah.
You've seen those.
That's a good conversation. That's probably
We had an ostrich down the road one time. Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
I remember an emu as well.
Oh, emu. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
6 and 1, half a dozen of another.
Yeah. So, and then my B to this, did you know? Since it is Thanksgiving, when people hopefully will be listening to this right around the week of Thanksgiving, but did you know that a red velvet cake is just a chocolate cake with red food coloring?
Whoa.
I did not know that.
That's next level.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. So
I didn't know
I
that.
love a red velvet cake.
You do love a cake.
Well, I love a red velvet cake at Thanksgiving. All that icing on there, that cream cheese ice cream.
Ooh.
So if anybody's listening and they'd like to make us one,
I always figured you'd be more of a pumpkin pie kind of guy.
no, let me tell you a quick story about that. I hate pumpkin pie.
What?
I just have never. So when I got married, my wife she was just on and on and on about pumpkin pie, and I just cannot stand it. So I told her this story that when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I went trick or treating, and some older kids stuck a pumpkin on my head. And then I had to wander around with it and couldn't get it off for hours. And since then, I've never been able to.
And she believed
And
it.
she believed it. And then I forgot that I'd told her that. But for years, I didn't have to deal with pumpkin pie because she was being so polite.
She felt so sorry for you.
And then she managed to, one time we were at my mother's and she said something about, oh, that was so sad about what happened to Bobby. My mother was like, what? So now I have to eat pumpkin
So
pie.
is the story true about you getting hit so hard on the football field that your helmet turned on backwards?
Well, I like to tell people it was. I did have the braces knocked off of me.
Oh,
Yeah, those stick-on braces, I had them put on a Thursday and Friday night on a football game.
you didn't have them
For
anymore?
first play, they popped off in my mouthpiece.
Oh man,
That was exciting.
I'd love to see a video of that.
I'd love to see a video of Bobby playing football.
Yeah, I held the clipboard a lot. Anyway, those were fun days.
Good stuff.
So here we are. Looks like we're about ready to wrap this thing
Wrap
up.
them on up.
Cleveland, do you have anything to say?
I don't.
Anything to add that could make this any better than it already is? That would be a no.
No.
All right, Lanny, what about you?
Man, I'm good. Hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving, gets out there in the woods with your family, has a good time, cooks some wild game for Thanksgiving. Remember, the first Thanksgiving dinner was wild game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Turkeys played a role.
Did they eat a
So
goose
was
or
that-
a turkey?
Was that a made up story or did that really happen?
Which one?
The whole Thanksgiving thing.
I don't know,
I think it
don't,
happened. It may not be like it was, like the photographs that you
I
see.
don't think the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Marina pulled up and there was a big welcoming party and they rolled out the
Right.
carpet and cooked them dinner.
Yeah. That's what all the old paintings make you think it is.
Yeah. But I know one thing. I love to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And I love
It
Thanksgiving.
is turkey and dressing. Whew. Black-eyed peas.
And a big part of
Fruit
being a
salad.
gamekeeper is, the thankfulness. I mean, that's kind of, one and the same for the resource. So
Well,
not to get philosophical on us here when we're fixing to get out of here, but
and Thanksgiving historically has kind of been like a little kickoff, a little hump to get over. After you have Thanksgiving, then it's off
It's
to
like
the
a-
deer camp, and
Yeah,
it's a big weekend.
it is a big weekend. You're either going shopping or you're going to deer camp.
Yeah, I'm not going shopping.
I'm not going shopping.
I'm sure Christy Smith will be going.
She is a warrior.
All right.
Warrior.
All right. Anybody, Dud, you got anything else to add?
I'm good.
All right. Well, say goodbye, Dud.
Goodbye, Dud.
All
Goodbye,
right.
Dud.
Lanny,
I'm
get us
thankful
out of
for
here.
everybody.
All right, get us out of here, Cleve.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast. And be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.